So, more than 30 years ago, Master Cheng decided to assist indigenous girls living in Eastern Taiwan to continue their studies and offer them jobs at the first Tzu hospital in Hualien after they graduate. And that was how the Tzu Education Mission was founded. What is the essence of the Tzu Education Mission? And how was that mission evolved until today? Let us now invite our speakers, Sister Yo Ka Peng and Brother Anthony Ng, who were part of the founding team of the Tzu International School, Kuala Lumpur, to share with us on this topic. Please welcome Sister Yo Ka Peng. Cảm ơn.
Thank you, Sister Stephanie, for the introduction. And good afternoon, brothers and sisters. My name is Peng. First, what I'd like to share with you this afternoon is the Tzu way in bringing peace and harmony to society and the world through a wholesome and holistic education system by inculcating virtues and imparting proprieties in our students and our children. As you all know, education is one of our 4 missions in Tzu. And this education mission began with the opening of the Tzu Nursing School back in 1989, with the dual purpose then of providing opportunities to the locals to learn a new skill set, and also to provide a steady stream of nurses who are inculcated with loving kindness, compassion to serve in our Tzu hospital. Tzu Nursing School has today been turned into Tzu University of Technology. And since then, Tzu education has flourished to comprehensively cover education from preschool to postgraduate, with Tzu education now having footprint in 9 countries, and we own and operate 87 schools. But this does not include schools that were built for disaster victims, as they were all handed back to the local government. So from this table, you can see the significance and extensiveness of Tzu education mission. Master Cheng has often reminded us that children are the hope of society. And the hope of children lies in education. And this is the key fundamental reason that underpins Tzu education mission. However, Tzu didn't get into education just to be another education provider. Tzu wants to make a difference in how we educate our children. And that is to provide a wholesome and holistic education system to impart proprieties and inculcate virtues. This is to give students a reservoir of strength to bring peace and harmony to society and the world. Therefore, what actually differentiates Tzu's education and others are our goals and our delivery system. Fundamental to Tzu education mission, regardless of where we operate, is our goal to provide a loving and kind learning environment to our children. We want to provide our children a trusting learning environment so that they can thrive in, so that they're not afraid in making mistakes. They learn freely in finding their passion, and they're not afraid of making mistakes and learning, having the strength to stand up in order for them to find their passion. Similarly, this also holds true for our teachers, so that this is an environment where our teachers feel respected, they feel appreciated, and they feel fulfilled. Next, character building is our priority. In a world that is characterized as volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, we cannot afford to have strawberry kids that crumble easily. Therefore, setting them with the right values is very important to get them on the right life path so that they do not lose their way. Cultivating lifelong learning is our goal. as you all know, the only thing that is constant today is change. So we have to teach our kids how to fish and not fish for them. As we all know that whatever that we do today will become irrelevant tomorrow because of technology and because of artificial intelligence. So those will actually cause the change in how we do things. So constant upgrading is a necessity today. So cultivate our children with the love to learn and become a lifelong learner is to help them to adapt to the needs of tomorrow. Every school has vision, and you may want to think of one for yourself. Take, for example, when we set up Tzu Chi International School Kuala Lumpur, the first Tzu Chi school in Malaysia, we distilled Tzu Chi education goals down to just 4 words: nurturing, virtuous, global talents. And each word has a strong and deep meaning to it. By nurturing, it means that it is a process that will take time, patience, love, and compassion to teach and to guide. Virtues and talents are equally important, but virtues has got to come before talent. Why? As Gandhi said, knowledge without character, science without humanity, pleasure without work, politics without principles are disastrous. So cultivating virtues is to benefit the world. And why is it global? Global because the world today is totally open and porous because of the free flow of information. So we want to cultivate our children to have an open and spacious mindset so that they do not limit themselves to seeing further and broader. So if I can have 2 words to summarize what Tzu Chi education system is all about, it is life transformation. And I would like to share a video with you now as to what I mean by life transformation.
Kebanyakan daripada Filipina, Indonesia dan lain-lain lagi.
当地的人，华人哦都不进去的，因为是属于黑区嘛。
他们无国籍的话就没有办法上学。
Ingat banget.
斗湖市是斗湖省的省会城市，人口约有2万。其中甘榜迪丁案是斗湖市区沿海最大的贫民窟，也是最多非法外来者的聚集地，被当地人称为黑区。
我真的是很心痛那些小孩子哦，他们就是无所事事的，在那边玩啊、游泳啊，因为没有得去读书嘛，就是很心痛哦。他如果没有上课，就是这样。
赌博啊。玩啊，打架啊，这样子。
这个布满垃圾的沙滩就是他们的游乐场。
他们村里面哦，其实有爱心的人哦，也觉得这一班孩子是很头痛的。
他们无国籍的话就没有办法上学。
再怎么聪明，他们有出路吗？
没有合法身份，不能上学。在这里，时间似乎变得很漫长。
然后将来这些孩子很大机会会成为社会的负担。
游乐不是孩子们的唯一，孩子们更多的还要为生活去奔忙。
就因为他们小孩子出去工作，因为小孩子不会被抓嘛。我记得我们第一天上课，我们是8点嘛，我们的学生6点就到了。
他们早就在排队了。
学费全免，穿着慈济发的衣服、鞋子、袜子，背着书包去上学，孩子们无比兴奋和期待。每个月600块马币的工资，2位老师却欣然接受。孩子分为大小2班，年龄参差不齐，2位老师每天轮班教学。可是，一切要从零开始，对于老师和慈济职工们来说， 并没有想象的那么容易。
Cabarannya sekolah ni pertama buka, lepas tu sudah besar. Kalau kita dari kecil kan kita tahu didik macam mana.
他基本上他连写 A 到 Z 的字母都不能掌握，所以他是很吃力的在写的。
Tulis itu M E K。
孩子的专注力是很少的，5分钟这样哦，就开始就爬来爬去了。
我们也是想到他们家里很贫穷嘛，有些可能来上课的时候没有吃早餐，所以我们就是想说准备一点早餐给他们吃，就比较肚子饱了才会上课嘛。
每天9点的爱心茶点时间是孩子们的最爱。
他们不会洗手的，只是拿水冲一冲，这样还是要给他们肥皂啊。
他们现在在卫生那一方面有改进很多，用饭前要洗手，用饭后要漱口。
可能要跟他讲一些生活的体验啊，这样。
Kalau satu hari kan abang kan ambil kamu punya barang, apa macam kamu buat? Kamu maafkan dia.
Kalau saya kena marah di rumah, saya maafkan.
Kamu maafkan.
Sayangi balik.
Nenek kamu.
Maksudnya cincin 在源头。cincin 在源头。Maksudnya bila kamu kutip itu barang-barang yang kotor, tapi dia boleh kita semula cuba kasih bersih. Saya satu.
With my hands, I can touch the world. With my feet, I can chase my dreams.
孩子们的画画铅笔和部分纸本都来自于环保回收物。
The colors of the sky. With my ears, I hear beautiful music. Me and my friends, we grew up together. With my parents, I share my love forever. From my teachers, I learned.
Macam mana I? Macam mana I? I? Jauh sikit.
There's nowhere I can go.
Lepas tu orang bila kita sayang, diorang terlalu menghargai. Yang saya nampak dalam kelas saya memang diorang sangat menghargai.
There are many who has so much less than I do. I feel blessed, feel so blessed. Even when life is hard, I know I love, I am never alone.
尤其那些小孩子，他们就是撒浪的时候，他们很真心的从心里上说出来的。他就看着我，师姑，谢谢你这样子，我真的很感动。我说一切都是值得的。
他们真的蛮有礼貌的，本性啊是很善良的。
这些孩子得到爱哦，他们会慢慢的就会往我们的爱的那个方向努力跟成长。
I share love forever.
Yeah.
Recording in
Is
progress.
their only way out of the slum. So how you can see from the video that how they have transformed from sadness to happiness. And that is one great emotional transformation that we see in these children. Physically, they found a new outlet for their untamed energy. Instead of fighting and gambling, they study, they learn values, they learn how to interact with people, they learn self-love, self-worth, self-respect. So they found a new purpose in life, and that is the most important about education. So both the teachers and students did not let their students' illiteracy hinder their teachings or their learning. Anywhere and any place can be a school, as long as there is a dedicated teacher who is willing to share, to care, to love, and to transform. And there are diligent students who want and who are eager to learn. So teach and guide with loving kindness and compassion, the result will far exceed any expectations. So that's what we learn. Don't be judgmental and never give up on your children or your students. Any one of them may be a new star to be discovered. So what we are doing with Tzu Humanistic Culture Education is to actually help our students to imbue a moral compass within them so that they can find a right life path. And this is really the bedrock of Tzu Humanistic Education. What we want to try to help our students is to internalize sincerity, integrity, faith, and honesty, so that they have the strength to reach out and practice gratitude, respect, and love, and conduct themselves with loving kindness, compassion, joy, and selfless giving. And hence, they will interact with others with contentment, gratitude, understanding, and inclusiveness. And they will make concerted effort to coexist mutual love, to have unity and harmony. So all of these, I know it sounds like a whole mouthful, and you may have questions as to how do we do that. So we do that through the 5-pillar learning program, which is living skills, life skills, service education, humanistic culture, and living with nature. So in the following slides, I will go through with you what I meant by that. So in living skills, here students will learn responsibility and accountability from a very young age. So they learn to take care of their belongings, for example. They learn to complete their daily chores, to be self-reliant and diligent. And this is a time where we want to inculcate a positive learning attitude in them. Then as they grow, they will have to learn to start taking care of their surrounding and the environment, thereby increasing their awareness and responsibility beyond just the self. So in learning to do things together, they develop a deep sense of belonging. And with that, they stop differentiating and judging each other. So in learning in this picture, in learning to put away things in their respective places in an orderly manner, students will cultivate a respectful and caring nature for all things. And they will develop a sense of responsibility for the things and for the things that they use. Students will also learn proper demeanor in how they should dress, sit, walk, and eat, the dignified way of carrying themselves, and how to keep to good personal hygiene. And this is our way to help our students to inculcate self-love, self-worth, and self-respect. We want to teach students that all things that are good has got to start from oneself. So in life education, students learn respect, gratitude, and love in their interaction with people and how they will reach out readily to practice loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and selfless giving. Why so many kids today are so easily lured by materiality, or they crumble so easily? It is because of a lack of awareness in them of gratitude and understanding of blessings. They lack consciousness to know the good from the bad, the right from the wrong, and they don't know how to keep a lookout for each other. And that is also why and how the moral fabric in our societies has deteriorated or disintegrated so quickly. Next, this is one of my favorite pictures. It never, stopped to, bring out a lot of emotion in me. Here you see students standing proud and dignified in their school uniform, queuing, walking tall and upright is a sign of mutual respect for teachers and fellow students. Such discipline teaches uniformity. When they are united, they represent strength, beauty, and harmony. And this is, just by looking at the pictures, you have this deep sense. By keeping in line, they also learn to humble themselves and keep a lookout for each other to not get out of line. And this is where they learn group beauty is much more important than self-beauty. Moral values is not a subject to be taught in class only. Virtues are inculcated through experiencing, application, and realization. And this is why service education is so important. To build character, students must be exposed to many outdoor activities to help them to experience, to internalize those values through their daily interactions with each other. Master often tells us that see sufferings to realize your blessings. And this is how we teach students about contentment and gratitude. So therefore, there must be a platform for students to experience, to feel, and to practice serving, caring, and benefiting others. So in city school, volunteering is a must. In reaching out to help those needy in society, as you can see in the pictures here, students learn humanity and humility, from which they will develop a sense of responsibility for the world. In humanistic culture, the learning of tea arts, flower arrangement, calligraphy, appreciation of Cheng aphorism, and lyrical sign language, as you could see in the video just now. These are all very common across all city schools. And these are all designed to help students to understand and appreciate their cultural background. But more importantly, is to help students to nurture creativity and to help instill discipline in them. All of these activities involve focus, stilling, and calming the minds. Amongst this learning of humanistic culture is Jing Si aphorism, which are short saying of words of wisdom by Master Zheng Yan. And here today, I decided to pick the teaching on filial piety. Filial piety, as Master said, is the foundation of all goodness. And this is one value that students are constantly being reminded of in all occasions. But how do you teach students to repay their parents' grace? So I chose 3 short sayings to share with you. Coming together in the world through our parents, making parents happy, obeying parents' wishes. But how do you actually make students truly understand how parents labor for them and why they should be obedient and not to do anything to worry their parents in repaying their parents' grace. So now I'd like to share a video with you.
The Tzu Chi Kedah Kindergarten in Malaysia recently organized a 3-day program to let the children experience for themselves the difficulty and inconvenience of pregnancy. After participating in such a program, some children even repented to their parents for their past bad behavior.
The Tzu Chi Kedah Kindergarten in Malaysia organizes an Experiencing the Difficulty of Pregnancy program for students. They have to carry a water balloon in front of them.
I can't sit up straight because I'm afraid of hitting my belly, which may hurt my baby.
I can't sleep well because I cannot turn over. I have to sleep on my back to protect my baby.
During pregnancy, everyone needs to carefully mind their baby, otherwise the child may suffer injuries or things may not go smoothly.
I should say sorry to my baby because I didn't take good care of her. I fell down and ended up with a miscarriage.
When we left home this morning, he asked me to turn up the volume of the music because he wanted to give the baby blessings by having him listen to Buddhist songs.
I've already brought clothes for my baby. I want to dress her in the clothes.
After the students experienced the difficulty of pregnancy and childbirth for 3 days, some of them started to reflect on their experiences.
I can imagine my mother's difficulty of pregnancy and her experience of having a baby kicking. I said sorry to my mother after returning home.
Apart from giving students an opportunity to experience the endless love of their parents, this program also emphasizes the importance of filial piety.
Yes, so values are taught in a way for our students to experience through role-playing, mimicking, to help students to actually imprint these values and teachings in their young hearts and minds. They are very impressionable. So next is the 5th pillar, which is living with nature. This is to increase our students' awareness in the need to protect Mother Earth. Students are taught that life wouldn't exist without Mother Earth, and therefore they must coexist with nature and to appreciate and value all lives. So there are many activities that help students to do that. And constantly, students are reminded to practice the 5R, which is refuse, reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. And of course, embracing vegetarianism is key in teaching them to love animals and appreciate what Mother Earth has provided for us. All of these are important, but no school or any education system can succeed without a strong and supportive relationship between the 3 key stakeholders, which are the teachers, the students, and the parents. As Master Cheng said, good teaching technique alone does not make the best education. And the best education is incomplete without emphasis on good students, teachers, and parents' relationship. And this is most evident in the motto of our teachers, which is, there is no student that cannot be taught. It is I who have not found the way. So what this means is that teachers have to constantly learn and adapt to find ways to reach out to the students based on their capability, their wants, and their talent. Next, I would like to show you this other video, the last video. This is the video of the Angke River children in our school called the Ta'ai School in Indonesia.
The heavy rains in 2002 brought about devastation to Jakarta unseen in 30 years. The entire city was flooded. Back then, saying the name Angke River was equivalent to the meaning of slums. Clogged with garbage and mud, the river, which was once wide and deep, became narrow and shallow. Shanty towns occupy both banks of the river with over 10,000 residents living in dark, tight quarters near the train tracks. It is scenes such as this that gave it the nickname of Black Heart of Jakarta. Danang gets up at 5 every morning to begin his track and field training for the day. He doesn't complain of hardship as he has never had a chance like this before attending the Tsuji school in Tengkaren Da'ai village.
If I had not met Coach Ahmad or attended the Tsuji school, I probably wouldn't have known what I was capable of. I want to win glory for my country. As a child, growing up next to the Angka River, it is a rare opportunity to do so. I hope I can continue to improve and one day meet Asia's standards.
Yumi Farida, who used to reside along the Angka River, has outshined her 1,200 classmates. She not only received a scholarship to go to college, but has successfully graduated this year.
When I was at the Tsuji school, all the teachers gave us positive feedback and teachings. They were very concerned about our future. Thanks to their teachings and encouragement, I was able to work hard and move on to university.
Sangat dibimbing sekali oleh guru-guru dari sekolah cinta kasih.
Yes, so you can see another success story from Tsuji school. From the video, you clearly can see that how illiterate kids metamorphose into disciplined and learned kids with hope and dreams for a future. When the Ta'ai school started in 2004, it took our teachers 4 years to teach them personal hygiene and to wear shoes. But in a mere 10 years, these same students who didn't know ABC 1, 2, 3, they gained top spots in university, and many of them have now graduated as teachers, engineers, and even doctors. So that is how life-transforming education can be, and that should really be the purpose of education. So much of the success really lies in how our teachers reach out to gain trust of the students and then lead them to find their passion and their purpose in life, as what you could see in Danang. In return, the teachers are rewarded by the students' success and their gratitude in crediting their success to all the teachers. This is really what Tsuji's education is all about, life transformation with loving kindness and compassion. So what is key in Tsuji's education, last but not least, is that we place significant emphasis on building a strong and healthy tripartite relationships between teachers, students, and parents. This is to ensure that there are constant communication between parents and teachers, because all three groups, parents, teachers, students, they are all teachers and students at the same time. They all have to learn alongside each other to grow and not become irrelevant as their children or students grow. And what is also unique about Tsuji Humanistic Culture Education is the role played by our Great Love parents and our Either parents. These parents are like the surrogate parents to our students, one whom the students can actually learn to trust and confide in. And also these Either parents and Great Love parents, they also play a key supporting role to the teachers in school. So to summarize, there must not be any let up on the emphasis in the right kind of education for our children, because in education lies the hope of our children, and the future of a society and the world lies with our children. Thank you. That's my sharing